Hey guys, welcome back to Surveying with Robert. I think this is going to be a Tuesday tip, and you'll have to excuse the echo, but I'm actually in a condo in Hawaii. I got a lot to tell you guys, so this might get a little bit lengthy, this Tuesday tip, but I thought I'd just throw this at you guys. I am no longer working for NEI. I am on my own, going to be doing training as Surveying with Robert. So if anybody is looking for some training, either online or want me to come on site or put a training class on somewhere, Robert at surveyingwithrobert.com. Hit me up. I'm already scheduling some training stuff. So if you guys are interested in getting some training, you better holler quick because it's filling up pretty fast. I wanted to kind of share with you guys also today, I did something kind of cool. So I set up a scan, okay? So I did a scan on a project, but I scanned it with this. Scanned it with a cell phone. So let me give you a little backstory. Out here in Hawaii, a buddy of mine was locating some sewer line. He does, Dave Dickey, he's got HPL, Hawaii Private Locators. So Dave was locating a force main for somebody, and I said, hey, why don't we open up those boxes and let me scan them and see what they look like? Well, we opened up the boxes, but the angle of he's got an SX10 I was using. So the angle to the bottom of the box, at SX10, I just really couldn't get in a good spot where I could see down in it. And I said, man, you know what? I've scanned some stuff, kind of crazy stuff with this phone. I thought, let's just try this and see how it works. Let's see if I can't scan with this phone. And let me scan the site. We'll see. I mean, the only thing I really needed to know is where the pipes went through the box. That's really all I needed to know for this case. So not that big a deal. It's kind of interesting because, I just did a video for you guys on how to do, how to georeference a scan. So that's what we're going to do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, there's a couple different things I want to do. One is I'm going to bring in the SX10 data and we're going to look at that. And then I'm going to bring in the phone data and we're going to look at that. We're going to do a cutting plane. And then I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to adjust each one of these to make them fit. We're going to make it fit horizontally and vertically, but like I said, the scan with the phone for objects, like in this case, this box for this force main, it's not that hot. It works. I mean, for what I needed it for, it's fine. But honestly, if I was trying to do something a little bit more detailed, I don't think an iPhone's the trick. Maybe if you're just using it on the ground, maybe there's some cases where maybe underneath some trees or something where you can't get it with LiDAR. I don't know. I'm sure there's some cases out there you guys can come up with where you could use this. So anyways, okay. So I got Business Center up and going here. So let me bring in the job that I was working in. So here is the job file. Now, as you know, you have a, whoops, you know what? Cancel that. Cancel that. That is not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. This has got scan data in it. This would help if I bring in the right one. So this one has the 3 separate scans that I did, and I did them there again. I wasn't really looking for a lot of detail, but what I was looking for was just the information on these pipes. So I didn't get real carried away. I did a 2-point resection, which in my opinion is a no-no. You should never do that. So these scans, because all 3 of these scans was based off a 2-point resection, my vertical, and I think Dave's 750 he's got set up at his house. I think it's too close to his house, and I think we're getting some multipath coming in. I gotta look at that and see what's going on with it, because our vertical seems to be kind of bouncing around a lot. But anyways, here's what I want to show you guys. I am going to bring in that scan data, but first what we're going to look at is if you look over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see I have 3 scans, 2000, 2005, and 2010. So each one of those 2000, 2005, 2010 are point numbers that I did on the resection, right? So there again, like I said, I resected from 2 points. So in order to georeference this other scan, what I need to do is I can do this multiple ways. So right now I could go in here and fix this scan right now because I already know I got about a 10th floating around between those 3 scans, right? From doing that integrated surveying that I did. So let's just go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and do this. And just because this is the way I did it before. There again, we're not looking for any kind of crazy accuracies. We're just trying to get it close enough. Honestly, what I have on the screen for this box is fine. But there's another box down just south of that box that I don't have, that I didn't scan. Because literally that box wasn't big enough. There was no way I'd get that scanner down the bottom of it. So I just scanned this box and did the rest of it with the phone. So let's see how we bring the phone in. So the first thing I want to do is I want to create some points. So I'm going to go to CAD. I'm going to say create points. And I'll call this 10,000. And instead of a points layer, let's make it a little easier on ourselves. Let's just call this scan points. Okay, I'm just going to create a new layer. Close. Scan points. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to try to find about the middle of this thing. I'm going to say add. About in the middle somewhere in there, add. I don't have any targets or anything else to come off of, so I'm just going to hit the center of this box all the way around. I'll give it 4 points. Add. Okay, so I've got those points in there now. So now what I can do is I can turn off all these scans. I can go in and say, turn off my points over here. I can turn off everything on the layer with the scan points. Scan points I want to, actually, you know what? Scan points I want to show. So let's show point symbol. Show point IDs. Okay, so there's those 4 points. So now let's go over here and let's turn off the total station vectors. Let's turn off the RTK vectors. And that way all I have left is this. Okay, so that's the 4 points around the outside of that box, right? Okay, now then, let's bring in our scan from the phone and watch how crazy this looks. Step number 1, when I exported it out of here, and you know what? Let me show you this real quick before we bring this in. Let me show you what we got going on. First of all, the app that I used is this 3D scanner app. So let me back out of here where I was at. Close all that out. Let me go all the way back out. If it will take, there it goes. Okay, so these are the scans. So if I close this, when I go into it, this is what you see right here. You see this, it's looking, you can see it's looking at my computer and stuff. But if I go to scans, there's the scans I did. Here is the one, I didn't name it, just called Untitled. This is a scan from my phone. So you can see, here it is. So I just scanned this whole area. And when you get in here and look, you can see how wonky it looks? I mean, it just didn't do that great. I mean, all the grass stuff looks great. I mean, it looks fine. It's just, you know, when you're trying to get in that box. And I mean, I ran this thing around and around and around. And here's the other box that I couldn't scan down here. So, you know, it's like I said, it worked good on the grass. On an object, maybe not so much. Okay, so just kind of think about that. You know, my SX10 box turned out pretty decent, right? So we can see that box. You can see it's kind of a little wonky too, but hey, it's an iPhone, for Christ's sake. Okay, so what you do, once you scan that, you bring that in and you process it to get it to this point. And then I'm going to hit share down here at the bottom. and I'm going to send it out as a point cloud. So when I send it out as a point cloud, you'll notice that like the one I use says LAS in meters with color. So that's the one I use. So when I click on that, it's asked me where I want to send it. Well, I just sent it to my Google Drive and told it to upload. And I told it to upload to robert@hawaiisurveying.com. hawaiisurveying.com. Interesting. Anyways, and I said upload, and there it went. So just to give you guys an idea of how I got it off the phone. So that's a 3D scanner app, I think is what I used. But you'll notice it said it exports in meters. So you've got to, in Business Center, you got to do the same thing, okay? So you're not going to make it survey foot. If you do, this won't work. Bring it in meters and say, okay, now I know that my job is in US survey foot, but I'm bringing this in as meters. We'll say, okay, I'm going to tell it it's non-georeferenced. It's going to bring it right in. Boom, there it is. Okay, so let's do a 3D view. Let me close this out. Okay, so you can see the points in my scan, right? So it's flipped it on its side. Makes it kind of interesting, doesn't it? Okay, so let me show you how to do this. Now, if you remember from the video I showed you not too long ago, of course, we were really trying to get in that other video, we were trying to make the X7 and the drone data line up really close. And we had one that was scale factor of 1, and we had one that was state plane coordinates, but they were covered a large area. So this, I'm not going to get that crazy about. Okay, so I'm just going to georeference this. I'll be off a little bit. I'm not worried about it. So, so what you want to do is you want to go into point clouds. You want to go to georeference. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it. So this is the scan we're trying to georeference right here. Okay. So go over to your Project Explorer, find those points. So here's those points I just put in there, 10,000 through 10,003, right? So what you're going to do is we're going to say, and if you type it in, it wants to put the one in and the rest of it, I'll just show you. See how it jumps to the other side over there? You don't want it to do that. Okay. So, and I think I showed you this in the other video. But if I come over here and select it, 10,000, it works fine. So we know 10,000 was somewhere up in here. So we'll do that. Now we know 10,001 somewhere in here. We're going to say 10,002 is somewhere in here. And 10,003 was somewhere in there. Okay, now we're going to say georeference. Okay, so now if we look, you can see our points are lined up pretty decent. I'm sure if we, let's see, there's that error that we saw before, right? So it's trying to reference in one's scale factor, and then one of them's on state plane. So I'm going to hit F4. We'll see if it pulls it a little tighter. I can live with that. That's pretty tight. So let's go to plan view, look at it in plan view, just so you can get an idea. You can see our scale down here. There's 500. So that's pretty tight. That's pretty tight. So, so now I've got that in there. So I can go back to my view filter manager. I can go in and turn off the scan points. I can turn on my other scan, and let me turn that scan off. Let's do color-coded intensity. Now let me turn this scan on. Actually, this scan, let's see if I can change it, color to, let's see, do I want to change this to another color? Not really. What I need is it to be, let's see if it'll let me, do this way. True color. Somewhat, yeah. So now I've got both scans in there. So let me turn this on 3D. Okay, so we should be able to see what was scanned with the SX12 and what was scanned with the phone. So we get in here and look, you can see, look at that, we got a little bit of difference in there. See that? Okay, so this is where we're going to go fix this real quick. So what we want to do is I'm going to put it in a plan view for right now. For this moment, we're going to go to Plane Manager. We're going to say New. I'm going to do a vertical plane. And I'm going to pick 2 points for my vertical plane. I'm going to say right here and right there. And I'm going to close. And I'm going to go to 3D view. Okay. Now I'm going to go to cutting plane. Okay, so you can see we have a cutting plane running through this thing. See there where our cutting plane's running through that? So if I come down here and look, let's close this out, give us some more real estate. You can see we've got multiple scans in there. So this dotted line right here, this is our phone. And then you can see the different scans in here. And you can see we're off, not only are we off vertically, but we're off horizontally too. So I'm going to show you a little trick for this. So if we go over here and look, and I turn the phone off, and I turn off this one, and I turn off this one. So if we just said, look, our first one was our best one, and that's the one we're going to hold for elevation, okay? So we know that 2005, when we bring it in, we can see we have a difference in here. So if I go up here and hit the little measure button up here at the top, and I say measure from here to here, it's saying vertical about 2/10 in there. Oh, I'm sorry, vertical a tenth in there. I thought that said 1900s. Vertical is 2/10, okay? 2/10. I'm doing it again. Vertical is a tenth, 1100ths if you want to be precise. We're going to call it a tenth. Okay, so here's what we need to do. We've got that. So 2005, I'm going to go back to my Project Explorer. I'm going to go find 2005. I'm going to go to Properties. And you'll notice in Properties, there's a button up here that says Add Coordinate. So I'm going to say Add Coordinate. So it looks like from this one to this one, it looks like 2005 needs to come down a tenth, doesn't it? So let's call this 20. Okay. So now if we go back to 2005 and look, we have an office entered coordinate, but it's unknown. Let's make it control quality. We can probably make it survey as well. It would probably be the same thing. So if I hit F4 to recompute or hit the big red ball, you'll see those two scans are now together. Okay. So now if we go back and we look at our scans again, now let's look at 2010. Looky there, we got quite a bit right there, don't we? So now if I measure between there and here, what have we got? 1700s? Okay, so it needs to come up 1700s. So what we're going to do is the same thing again. We'll go back to Project Explorer. We're going to go to 2010. I'm going to click on it, go to Properties, and we're going to add a coordinate, 2298. So we'll make it 23, what did I say, 1700s? My brain ain't working that quick today. How about we do it this way? I know, you guys are screaming at me what the answer is right now. I've become reliant on these calculator things. Okay, so we got 22,985, 22.985 plus 0.17, 2316-ish. So if we make this 23.16, and I say okay, I hit F4 for recompute. And you can see I could adjust it some more if I wanted to. So now then, let's look at this. So now you'll notice it's off there. And you'll notice it's off here as well. So if we were to measure between here. Oh, whoops, wrong button. Let's try this again. Measure between here and here, horizontally 800ths. Okay, so which one needs to move? Well, you're going to go in here and turn these off and on. That one needs to move, 2010, right? So if you look at the different scan, actually, you know what? I would say we need to move this one. What do you think? That one needs to move 800ths back that way. So 2010. Well, no, if we move that 800ths back that way, that's not going to work. So this one needs to move 800ths. Which one is this? 2005. So we're going to move 2005 back that 800ths. Okay, so we'll move 2005 back 800. So easiest way to do that, let's go back to 2005, office entered. So if we moved it back 800ths, that would be what? If I said 21 dot, you know what? I know I'm fixing to screw this up. Let me just do this. I need to move it back 900ths, right? 800ths. 2.225 minus 0.08 equals, I want to move it back that way. I would be, yes, that's right, 2.15. Okay. Let's see if this works. It would help if I moved the right one. Oh, F4. Let's see what happens. Oops. I think we just screwed up. That looks like it lines up pretty good. This could stand to go over. Did I not move it far enough? Is that the problem? Or did I move it the wrong way? I think I moved it the wrong way. Let's make it a 0. Oh, definitely going the wrong way. F4. How's that for you? Does that work? That's better. What does it look like over here? That's better. I could probably go another 100th or two. What do you think? Vertical, I'm still in there. This is a 500ths width cut in there. So if I measure a point from the top to the bottom, vertically I'm 300ths in there between all those. So if I wanted to tighten them up, there again, you would look and see which one you want to tighten up. There's the top one. That one probably needs to come down. So I'd say let's take 2010 down a couple hundredths. What do you say? 2010. F4. Okay, let's take, and keep it in mind, we're just playing around. I'm just showing you guys how to do this stuff. So let's take that one down a 100th or two, 2005. Let's make it an 18. Let's see how that works. How's that? So it looks like it's lining up pretty good. Both directions there now, my scans. So now, what if we went in and we turned on the scan? So now we have the scan from the phone in there. So the question is, because you can see how the phone kind of looped it around and everything. So you can see it's lower on one side and is on the other. See, that's not much you can do about that. It's just kind of got some kind of tilt in there. So you just have to figure out what you want to live with. I mean, if I wanted to match the ground in here, I could inverse right here. Go from there to there. And vertical says 1600ths. So let's just go into the scan, Project Explorer. Here's that scan. I'm going to add a point. 15 or 50, 64, 54. Let's just say 50. Or let's do a 48. How's that? I'm going to do a recompute. Now I'm going to try not to do the same dumb thing I did a while ago. Control quality, F4. There it goes. Okay, see how it took a minute for that to come down? That's what I thought it was doing to me a while ago. So now we've got that matching pretty good. I mean, it's matching here okay. You can see it's off right there. So it's a little bit of a tilt. I could take and try to georeference it again and try to get it level back out. That is probably because I probably should have lined these three up first before I tried to georeference that one. So it's because the elevations were off, I'm assuming it's what's got it kind of messed up. But hey, we're just playing anyway. So I just want to show you guys how to do this. So hope you guys got something out of this Tuesday tip. If nothing else, you know that I'm going to start doing training classes. So thanks for watching, guys. God bless. I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully there's going to be a whole lot more videos coming out soon. I'm hoping I'm going to have a little bit more free time to do videos. Not sure. So you guys keep a watch. As always, love you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one, which maybe I'll explain a little bit more about what all I'm doing. So I think you guys are going to be excited about everything I got coming up. So don't forget, holler at me if you want to do some training classes. See ya.